I surprisingly feel a lot more awake right now at 6 a.m. than I did last week.
Yeah,
I
why?
think my body's still on East Coast time.
Oh yeah, we gotta figure out what the next training is gonna be.
I think we usually figure it out while we're going through
No, we do.
the first one, but
We like to flow.
um a good one is I feel like we're doing time management today, right?
Yeah,
And so time management really leads into like the wealth management aspect because once you get your timing down, you could start to think about finances a bit more.
yeah. There's so many benefits.
But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see as we go along what comes up.
Yeah, I have a few thoughts.
Okay. Oh, you have that in the back. So you don't have to write it later.
I mean, I wanted to use the whiteboard, but it's not that
Which
necessary.
child is up? I heard a door open. Which child is up?
If you have any questions in regards to time management,
Or tips and tricks that you want to share, something that's worked for you. You went through a few trials of really figuring it out and honing down on what's helped you. I feel like we all have different personalities, and sometimes based on your personality, you have to sometimes adjust certain things. So if you guys have tips and tricks, what's worked for you, or what's held you back before, or what still holds you back now when it comes to time management and really managing your time and being able to get all the things done in a day, let us know, pop it in the chat, just so we can, share with each other.
and even like more specifically, like what's the number one thing that's helped you? Because if it's your number one thing, chances are it may be different than someone else's.
Mhm.
And only that, we can knowledge transfer. We can knowledge transfer the number one thing, the best use, the best case scenario for everyone, the best tip for everyone.
So Tara says, I'm trying to stop multitasking. I'm working on creating a list and then working on one thing at a time. I get way more done this way. Yes. And I think there's a lot of studies done when people multitask versus when they actually just stop and focus on one thing. And it actually has to do with like biology, right? And in no means am I an expert in biology. Like I don't think I even went through a full biology class in high school. Um, but your brain is wired to kind of like focus on one thing at a time. And when you focus on one thing at a time, you actually get it done faster because you start thinking about all the things related to that one thing just to like get it done. And so yeah, like I'm a multitasker. Um, and I think naturally, like for women or for moms, especially, like you tend to multitask, right? Like there's times when I'm literally pumping and cooking and like delegating to the kids, just because like in the moment, like I can't actually focus on one thing, but focusing on one thing, it does help and it does get things done faster because I think your brain kind of gets tired when you multitask, right? Like, have you heard that study before where if you focus on one thing, as opposed to multitasking, like the amount of energy it takes your brain to kind of keep shifting towards different subjects, it starts to get more tired actually. So the amount of energy that you're putting forth to all the things is like so much lower than if you were to combine it.
It's called brain fatigue,
There you go.
decision fatigue. It's called using more energy than necessary.
Yeah, but I think that's also a woman thing, right? Like women are more capable of multitasking than men are. Men are really great at just focusing on like one thing, but women most of the time our brains are kind of like everywhere. We're just a little bit designed that way. But yeah, I would say time blocking, just to focus on one thing to really get that one thing done and not have to like go back to it like 10 times because you didn't finish it out. It'll help you so much, and creating a list is great. Verge says assign yourself certain amount of time to get things done. And when, what is that? Checklist. Yes. Checklist. Goody says checklist, time management. Oh, you guys really like this topic. A lot of amount of time for everything. How much time I need for everything and getting up earlier. Yes. You are a multitasker. You need to get things done. Check it off the list. Can't leave things unfinished or halfway done. Yes. No halfway. No halfway. if it can get done now today, don't put it off to tomorrow. Yes, so true. Like, anytime you're like, oh, just do it tomorrow, and then something happens tomorrow that you didn't expect or schedule in to happen tomorrow happens, and then whatever you could have got done, you didn't get done, right? But I think that's just life. There's just always things flying at us. One thing that Shun has taught me is to schedule things in. He's like, if you don't schedule things in, it doesn't get done. And I started scheduling in fun and family time because I never really scheduled that. I was always like, work, 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 like work, handle responsibilities. Like there's no time for that. But it makes a big difference when you're actually going after a certain goal that you have.
Mhm.
I take a lot of breaks. I have ADHD, so I work in 30-minute to 15-minute. Yes, the focus, right? The focus. My plan is around what I value. Yeah.
That's good.
And so before I used to always think like, oh, if I work more and if I do more, then I'll have more time to spend like with my family, and I'll have more time to like take care of myself and do things for myself. Like, no, like there's always going to be things to do. There's like you clear off your plate and then it's going to get full again, and that's okay. That's life, that happens. But yeah, like what Angela said, plan around what you value the most. So if you're always like, oh, I'm going to work, as like 20 hours a day just so I can spend more time with my family one day, like chances are it's not going to happen. I've been down that road before, and it doesn't happen. But when you actually schedule the things that are most important to you in first, it kind of gives you a little bit more, I would say, motivation to keep on going. And when you're actually working or doing something, you're more motivated because you're just like, wow, like I really enjoyed that. 1 hour I spent with my kids today. I want more of this. How can I get more of that? Um, Learning to schedule your priorities. Yes, schedule your priorities. Don't prioritize your schedule. Yes, I love what you said. Love it. Love it. There's things that are more important to us than other things. So as opposed to like getting busy in the busy work, and just because everyone can get busy, right? And you can get busy just doing busy work. And that's not really going to help you. You have to actually focus on the things that are going towards your goals, right? So procrastinating. Yes, scheduling doesn't mean you have to follow it to the T, but you have it scheduled to get it done and go with the flow. Yes, I love this. You guys really love this topic. You guys are really great at this. So for me, like I share stories, right? It's the easiest way for me to kind of talk about a certain topic is based on like the experience that I had. And Shun is really great at helping me put the frameworks and all the teachings together and explaining what it is. And that's just always been our relationship, right? Like I just like, I'm all over the place sometimes, and he's just like, come back here. And this is what, and so he taught me the importance of frameworks and adding frameworks into your life, because when you have a framework for certain things that you do at certain times, or just for your life, then you'll always be able to make decisions more easily, or you'll have a framework with a thought or a project to be able to go off of, right? And so today we're going to go over time management, and the way I know best is by sharing stories based on my experience, just like how you guys all have your own experience of how you discover time management and how to get better. And then he'll go over the frameworks. So if you guys have, you guys could take notes, but if you're driving, just be safe. So when I was younger, I know some of you guys know my story. So when I was younger, all I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to help my single mom and to help take care of my brother. And so that was like, as a child growing up, that was like my number one goal in life, like help my single mom and, help take care of my little brother. I mean, he wasn't much younger than me, but as the older sibling, I felt that responsibility towards my younger brother. And I saw my mom struggle, like when my dad and her, they went through bankruptcy, foreclosure, and we basically had our home taken away. And they were separated at the time. They had separated shortly prior to that. She was working, she went out into she went working again because she was a stay-at-home mom, and then all of a sudden she had to go back out in the workforce. And so I saw her taking like any jobs she could. I think she worked at nights, like as like a cocktail waitress, and then she worked in the daytime at like one or two fast food restaurants, right? And so she just did anything that she could to be able to put, a roof over our head and, food in our belly and some clothes on our back. And my dad did the best that he could, but he also had another family and, really had to pick up from what had happened and start over again. So in my life as a child, my goal was just like, I need to like make money and I need to help my mom and help my brother and eventually buy a house for us so that we don't have to keep moving from apartment to apartment. And the apartments we lived at were like sketch, right? Like they weren't like decent, nice apartments with nice families. No, they were like the cops were there every single day, like just kind of hanging out and roaming around, that type of apartment. So I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to help us get out of here. So as soon as I turned 16 and I was able to get my driver's license, I was in high school. And so I was in high school full time. And then at 16, I also started college. So I would take a few classes at night. So I would go to high school in the morning / afternoon, do my homework, whatever I had to do. And then nighttime, I was in college. And surprisingly, I felt like college was much easier than high school. I don't know why, but going to college simultaneously while going to high school and still making sure I got all like my homework from both schools done, it did take a lot of time management, right? So although I didn't work in the beginning of that, I really had to manage my time to make sure like there's hard time blocks, right? And so the time blocks would be like, if you're going to school, if you're going to work, like you're at work or you're at school from this time to this time. And during that time, you really can't do anything unless you have, unless there's like a little bit of flexibility in it, right? So that's what I would do. And then once I had that down, shortly after, I was like, hey, I can drive. I'm going to high school. I'm going to college. I'm going to pick up a job too. Like I can pick up a job. I can make, just a little bit of money every single week and I can give it to my mom to help her like pay rent or pay for food, right? So, so I would have high school, I would have college, and then I would have work. And then I was responsible, right? Like I wasn't one of those kids that was like at home not doing anything. Like if my mom needs help with cooking or cleaning or going out to run errands to get groceries or to return things, I was there doing as much as I could, right? So from a very young age, my time has always been packed. Like the only time I was able to rest was going to bed and then waking up. Like my sleep time was like the only time, right? So as I saw people like going out, hanging out, having fun, doing all these things, like that just wasn't my life. And I was okay with it because again, I had a North Star and I had a why. And my North Star and my why was to be able to help take care of my family. And so once I was able to drive, I was like, I was out there. I was going to college, going to work at 16. And I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I need to speed through school as fast as possible so I could get a full-time job to be able to help my mom. So I guess that's part of like my time management story and how early I started. So it's always been instinctual for me, right? And then back in the days, I didn't have, the phones did not tell you where to go and how long it was going to take you and how long traffic would be. So that was something that I had to start predicting and kind of like managing as well, right? And so I've always been busy and I've always just kind of like done as much as I could and like piled a lot onto my plate. And so it's like the more you pile on, the more you get used to sorting things and to becoming really good at what you do. So then it becomes like instinctual, right? Like, you know how long it's going to take you to get ready. You know how long, like, you know what your traits are, right? Like if you start doing this, you know, it's going to take you another 30 minutes, right? And then there came a point where I got to the point where at one point I have 4 businesses, right? And managing and growing 4 businesses at the same time while having 2 kids, it's not really that simple. So you have to get really good at managing time, and managing time is just not managing time. What it really comes down to is managing yourself and knowing like, what is my North Star? What is the most important, right? And most of the time I feel like it's always financially related. Like, believe it or not, everything that you do is always somehow related to finances, right? Because yes, a lot of people are like, money's not everything, and I get it. Like, there's more things in life that cannot be bought, right? A person's character, integrity, all these things, love, right? So that's just kind of like a side note, but most of the things that we do are financially related. Like, every day we wake up, we go to work, or we work on our side hustles, because what are we trying to do? We're trying to escape. We're trying to get more freedom. We're trying to get more of the things in life that, that we haven't been able to get, or maybe our parents haven't been able to accomplish. We're always shooting for that next thing, right? So at the time, not too long ago, it was prior to me finding Thrive, right? Which added the fifth business, which I was not looking for at the time. I would time block, right? So time blocking. So I did not have, I had a really huge office that I built out in my house. But I was never really in there because there wasn't enough space. So I would go out onto my dining table, and I had 8 chairs. So at the time, with 4 businesses, then adding on a fifth, each chair was a business. So if I sat on this chair for the next hour, and I would time myself, I would time block in order to focus on one business. So I would be like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this business. And I would set like an alarm on my phone, and I would sit in that chair. And I'm like, my intention is working on this business and getting this and that done. And most of the time, when you're handling multiple things or multiple businesses, the first thing you think about is, what is the 20% that's going to get the 80% done? Because if you don't have just one business to focus on, you're always going to have to focus on what is like the income producing activities that's going to create the best results for what I'm doing, right? And so I would sit at a chair and just focus on that business for X amount of time. And once I was done, it's like I would put on another hat, and then I would literally walk over to like the next chair, or like I would put each business at every other chair, right? Because there was 8 chairs, and I would like go to the next business, and I'm like, okay, now I'm working on this business. And when I work on this business, okay, what happened yesterday? What happened today? What's happening tomorrow? What do I need to do? Right. And so it's the sole focus on what you're working on at that point in time, and time blocking, right? So you know that you scheduled in a block of time to be able to work on a certain business, and being organized. I don't know how many of you guys like being organized, whether it's a pain point for you or whether it's something you're like, I am really great at it. But if you guys have any systems that you guys use, or any project management tools that you use, please feel free to share. As organized as you are, the better your schedule is going to be. So some people still use journals, right? They use journals, and they write the time, they write what they're going to do, they write how long it may take until the next activity. Some people have alarms. I have multiple alarms, like multiple alarms. Just to help stop me when it comes to me doing the next thing. So as organized as you can get with your schedule, the better you will become at time management. And if you know, sometimes you kind of just dive deep into something and forget, like set an alarm. Like Shen and I have so many alarms. We have like 10 alarms on our phones to like give us a hard stop, right?
I have more than that, but I'm trying to get rid of all the alarms actually.
Yeah, it's very distracting. But when you have a lot going on, sometimes you need alarms for hard stops, right? Like if you have to pick up your kids, you need an alarm to give you that much padding to really stop everything that you're doing to be able to go get them. So what do you guys do?
Here, so you already talked about, I heard you were talking
I
about
was
like the
talking,
hats,
yeah, like
chairs.
I was talking about when I would have my living room table
Yeah, so
and switch.
I remember that because when I came into Crystal's life, like what I what I walked into was like a lot of chaos. basically. It was chaos everywhere, but it's because she was everywhere. She had to be everywhere, everyone, everything, and she had to do everything. And so, that when you look at your own environment, right? When you look at your space right now, your home space, this is like your sanctuary, your temple. Like, there's so many sacred things about your home. So if you look around right now, is there clutter? Do you see clutter? If yes, immediately that's one thing to add to your to-do list, to remove clutter, to declutter, to get rid of the clutter. The reason for that's because if you have clutter around you, then you're going to have clutter in your mind. And you want to get rid of all the clutter in your mind, because how can you really focus, intentionally focus, and go all out with your goals and dreams, going after it, being focused, intentionally focused, putting all your energy, your blood, sweat, and tears into your goals? How can you do that if there's clutter around you? It's slowing you down. There's something that it's called psychic weight. When you have a lot of clutter all around you, you are actually building psychic weight into your mind, and it's actually clogging up a lot of space. It's taking energy away from you, from actually using that energy into something positive. And so, there's something I wrote this before last year, but like, when you have to wait for something, it's because there's physical weight. There's physical or psychic weight that's dragging you down from going faster. If you want to go faster, then there's one thing that you just got to do. It's declutter. That's one thing for sure. I can't read this. So
I was reading it. You just
Yeah.
moved it.
sorry. So already, immediately, action item number one, right, is declutter and keep your space clean. It's your home. It's your sanctuary. It's your temple. It's something that's sacred. Keep it clean. Keep it. And we're going to talk about availability bias today. It's a cognitive bias that affects you whether you like it or not. And it affects you whether you use it or not. And it also affects you whether you know it or not. So let's get to know it. Let's get to use it. And let's get to learn it. And not only that, but it's going to help you go faster in your life for whatever it is that you want to do. So with that being said, when I walked into Crystal's house, right, into her life, into her home, the first thing I did was declutter. I started to help her get organized. I started to help her, clear the room, clear the space, right? And I started to section out everything. So the kids' toys, when I first walked in, the kids' toys was in the living room, was in the second living room, was in the kitchen, was in the dining room, was upstairs, was on the stairs, was on the stairs. I had to say that second time. Was on the stairs 3 times. Like, it was everywhere. Okay.
So for those of you that have kids, you know how it is.
Yeah. So for me, I immediately walk in. I'm like, this is, for me, I'm coming in to your life, and I want to make it better, right? As a man, as a partner, I want to make someone else's life better. I wanted to make my partner's life better. The very first thing I already immediately know is, well, there's a bunch of psychic weight here. There's a bunch of weight, clutter everywhere. How can she focus? How can she think? How can she live? How can she be free in her own space? She can't even be free in her own space.
Yeah.
Right? So guess what? Declutter everything. Clear everything. Just start fresh. The baby just woke up. Just start fresh, right? Like, just do it. When the first thing that, if you are familiar with cleaning, right? Like physical cleaning, kitchen cleaning, house cleaning, in the dining rooms cleaning, all that stuff, the restaurants, etc. The very first thing that you really should do, this is what I've learned, is take out all the trash, right? Take out all the trash first, and then put it into one section, one bag, one pile. And then from there, that's when you start to declutter. That's when you start to clean off everything. And then from there, grab your do 3 sections: donations, right? Keeps and throwaways, right? Those are the 3 things right there. This is all very practical, actionable items. Okay. And you can do it literally today and start with 5 minutes a day. And not only you, if you have kids, if you have a partner, get them involved. Let them help you, right? And we're going to talk about enlisting help, right? And this is just for your home, right? We're not even talking about business yet. You know how many other things happen in business, right? So there's a lot of comments, but the whole point is, number one, action item number one, okay? Especially for your home, your sacred space, clear the clutter, declutter, okay? Clear the clutter. That's action item number one. That's on the top of your list. every single time when it comes to your home, when it comes to just your living space, your environment. Once you do that, immediately, this is the 20% that gets the 80 done. Immediately, you will start to notice a difference in your energy. You'll start to notice a difference in your environment. You're going to start to notice a difference in other people who are living with you, if you have people like that. Okay. And not only that, if you don't have a family yet, right, and you have guests coming over, who here wants to have a guest come over and then see hair on the floor? It's so disgusting. Okay, come on. I know, like, it's not good to judge people.
I feel like
but
people shed though. People have shed. Like, I think on a daily basis, there have been studies done, look it up, but a person sheds X amount of times a day.
Yes, people who have skin shed. Okay.
And
There's
hair.
something called vacuums. So there's something called vacuums. There's something called a broom. Okay. No matter what you have in your arsenal, you can even go like that. There's something that you can be resourceful. Okay. Everyone's smart here. So let's just do our best to increase our efforts and clear the clutter. Clean off the hair. Okay. Like, it's disgusting.
I do that every day. It's the other one with long hair in the house.
Yeah, hygiene is important. Yes. It is acceptable to have some mess, but it's up to your standard, right? And again, though, the whole point I bring that up is because if you have a guest, right? If you have a guest come over, the first thing I'm telling you right now, people are always observing, they're always judging, they're always watching. And for you as a leader, okay, now I'm gonna bring some fire hour into this. As a leader, right? We're here to step our standards up. We're here to step our efforts up. We're here to achieve our goals and dreams. We're here to achieve wealth in all aspects of our life, abundance wise. It does require a certain standard to raise the expectations for yourself, right? To raise those goals, to meet different trajectories, different goals for yourself. All these things, it all matters. Everything matters, right? So, and not only that, if you have kids though, right? What type of environment are your kids in? And what are they getting used to? What's their status quo, right? So I care about all this stuff. I really care about this. When I walk into the children's restroom and I see hair on the floor, I'm like, yo,
get the vacuum. We have a vacuum.
yeah. Like, but the reason for that's because I want them to start to, ingrain and learn, like, it's not acceptable, right? We don't want to accept that in our home. Why? It's because we have guests come over, right? Why? Because you step on it yourself. Why is that the environment that you want to live in on a daily basis? Right? It's energy that is dead. Now let's send it off. Right? Send it off in a nice way. Every single
in
time.
a nice place, the trash can.
I mean, yes. Okay. So and then not only that, like, when it comes to, like, let's say for example with donations, right? If we're donating something, we always tell the kids, this is something I learned from Marie Kondo, from the magic of
tidying up.
Yeah, the magic of tidying up. She's a very, like, spiritual, energetic person. She has some knowledge that, like, I think is very true. And so when I told the kids that, I taught them, when you're gonna discard something, like, you're done with playing with a toy, something like that. Like, you have to thank it, thank it for all its time, its energy that it's given to you, and the joy that it's brought to you. And then from there, now you can let go, right? Same thing with donations, same thing with throwing things away. Everything. It's just thank it, because it was a part of your life, right? And that piece of you is now out in the world somewhere, right? Why not? Even if it doesn't do anything, why not just send it off with some love, right? Even if it doesn't do anything, why not send it off with some love? That's it. So, yeah, her series on Netflix, it's a very good introduction and overall summary to her. But that's a resource. There's so many resources out there when it comes to just this one thing. Decluttering, cleaning your space, making it a place of sacredness, where when you come home from work, like, you're coming home to a fresh new place, every single time. You're able to really decompress and relax and rest, right? And it's not stressful. And that's just one little thing. That's just decluttering. That's one thing. Okay, what else is there, right? For us, we have a cleaner. I really like the book, Decluttering at the Speed of Life.
Oh, I've never heard of that one before. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, the speed of life, right? Life is so fast, and sometimes we feel like we don't have time, but little things add up, right? Like, and if you guys are moms, you guys have spouses, like, you know how it is when you know where someone's been and every single part of the house, where they've thrown clothes on the floor, where they left dishes on the counters, where they've left things in the bathroom, what they've used last, right? So for me, I've learned that putting things away right away is so important, because there is not a maid in the house to come after you and go in every single room to pick up after you. So that's another thing that I've learned. If people could just put their stuff away right away and like not throw stuff all around and then just pick it up after like a month, that helps too.
Yeah, it really depends on like the life that you're living, like your lifestyle. Like if you don't have a mansion, like that's like, 5 bedrooms, like 8 bathrooms, or and more, then how much do you have to really declutter? Like it depends, it can really stack up over time.
It stacks up.
Yeah.
I feel like just daily living, right? Like if you're looking for a certain outfit and you're throwing clothes all over the closet and the floors in every corner, and then just like leaving things when you eat and drink, like it's going to add up regardless of the house that you have, whether it's big or small. You either have the discipline in you to pick up after yourself, or you can, or not. You
Or
can leave it
enlist
around
or
for
enlist help, like so like I want to step up like these are basic things, but this is the thing is like all these things that we're talking about right now, it's like you are trading your time for it. Okay, so let's go to the next level, like enlisting help, right? Enlisting help. Now this could be for your children, this could be for if someone else lives with you. I don't know, but the whole point is you want to enlist help, because if you are doing the work, the dirty work, if you are cleaning your space, and it's okay to clean your space, obviously, but if you don't have the time to do it, now it's the point where you're enlisting help, right? You're either, you're teaching your children like the good traits, just understanding how to clean. That's they're gonna have to do it when they're adults anyways. Why not teach them now? But not only that, if you don't have that though, if you don't have children, or you don't have people living with you, or you don't have the time, then what's next? How can you actually declutter your space? How can you actually clean out, like, the garbage, whatever it is? Enlist help, like hire a housekeeper,
if you can afford it.
hire a cleaner, right? Let's just say that let's just say that you can afford it, right? Or let's just say that it's only like $200 like a month, right? But it's really messy. Guess what? It just depends on your severity level. It depends on the priority, depends on, your situation, right? But again, it's so important to just have your space clean. I learned that seeking help is important. If that's not your skill, you seek a professional or someone with experience. Yes, 100%. The
Yeah.
reason for that is because everyone needs help every now and then, right? And it's okay to have help. It's really important to have help as well when you have big goals and dreams, right? We can't do it by ourselves. If you want to build a $100 million business, right? Can you do it by yourself? The answer is no. Maybe, I guess there's exceptions to this, but for the most part, and statistically, speaking, and also from research and all studies, right? It's all about teams. The people who really make like that type of income level, it's teams. It's team related. It's all based on the team, right? $1 billion. It's because of the team. It's not necessarily because of the founders, because of the team. So that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who are better than you, right? You want to always do your best to surround yourself with people that you can learn from. If you're not learning from people that you're working with, then why are you there? This is what Jim Rohn says. Jim Rohn says that whatever job you're working on, whatever career you have, ask yourself, it's never about how much you're making from that job. It's about what are you becoming from that job, right? He says, ask yourself the question, what am I becoming by doing this work? What am I becoming from being in this career? What am I becoming? Like, who am I becoming from this activity, this endeavor, right? Because the money will come and go, but who you become in the process will stay with you forever, right? So guess what? If you haven't asked yourself that, you have to understand, like, what are you becoming? There's a lot of people out there, especially like when I first started in entrepreneurship, I was asking myself, how can I make more money? How can I make more money? I'm super unhappy with the position I have. Like I want to get a new job. I don't know what job to get, right? But I just need to make more money. If I had the mindset to understand, like to ask myself, what am I becoming from each job that I was just, unsatisfied with, then I would have had a different perspective, a different mindset shift on the outlook of what skills I'm learning, right? The skills. So, I worked in the restaurant, like, food business. I learned management, time management, cash management, service, customer service, like all these things, right? I learned that stuff. That's what I was becoming in that process of those skills. And then from there, I learned about sales. Profits are better than wages. That's what Jim Rohn said. Profits are better than wages. That means that, a wage is like you trade your time for money. It's 1 hour, then you get paid this amount of hours, and so forth. So, and when it comes to profits, though, it's commission based, it's percentage based, it's a whole different drastic amount of income you can make
based on performance.
based on performance and not hours. Guess what? Right? That's when I started to like shift into sales. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, what am I becoming in the sales job now? Oh, I became a master closer. Literally, my closing ratio was 7 out of 10. So for every 10 people that came in front of my opportunity, I would close 7 of them. That's 70% closing ratio right there. Why? I don't know. It's just,
what was your
that's the
best
skills.
close, Sean? What was your best close?
Let's discuss that on another topic. So yes, the law of average, I make up in numbers what I lack in skill, right? It's more about volume, like just continue to do more.
And to touch up on what you said,
Mhm.
it's so important. Like maybe you guys are somewhere where you're not necessarily happy with where you're at, what you're doing, or what you're making, but as long as you do the best that you can and you continue to improve yourself, no one can ever take that away. Like no
Yeah.
one can ever take away the skill sets that you create for yourself. So sometimes people are like, well, if I'm not getting paid X amount, then I'm not going to overperform. I'm not going to learn new skill sets. I'm not going to be that person. You should be. You should be absolutely indispensable to a company, to your boss, to anything and everything that you do. So regardless of what you're making, I used to make minimum wage once upon a time, but did I act like a minimum wage person? No, I did not, because what I knew was my parents always said, do your best, do your best. You don't have to be the best of the best, but do your best, right? And they're Asian parents. Asian parents are usually like straight A this, straight A that. No, my parents were like, do the best you can do. And so that framework in my mind was do the best I can do and be the best I can be. Regardless if I like to do something or I don't like to do it, it is my responsibility. I signed up for it, and who do I want to present myself as? Like it's great to look one way and present yourself as one way, but it's another to actually do the things to make yourself that way, and it will show. Eventually the truth comes out, right? And when as a boss, like when you look at someone, if they're a minimum wage person and they act like a minimum wage person, therefore they will stay a minimum wage person, right? Because you are not making their lives or their business easier. But if you know better, then do better, because at the end of the day, you're upping your skill sets and you're upping your behavior and your discipline and taking accountability. Like, I don't want to play at this level. I want to play at a different level. Well, guess what? In order to play at a different level, you have to act at a different level. No one's going to come in and save you and do all the things you don't want to do just because you don't feel like it, right? Well, then if you act like that and that's your behavior, that's who you're going to be and who you're going to stay. So regardless of what you get paid, what you like to do or what you don't like to do, start to act as if you're someone that is where you actually want to be, regardless of the reward. And sometimes I feel like that's what slows people down. Like people slow themselves down because they're like, if I'm not getting rewarded right away, like short-term behavior, like, microwave, what is that? Microwave society, like instant right away, then they're like, no, well, I'm not getting paid that and I'm not getting that, so I'm not going to do that. Well, then you're just going to stay that way because that's your personality, that's your trait, that's the type of accountability that you have as a person, and it's going to show. And where it's going to show is in your life. You're not going to be happy with where you're at, what you have, and what you're doing, because you're always just playing at a different level. And so if you really want to be somewhere you've never been before, you have to up your skill sets regardless of what you're going to get or not. I was paid minimum wage for a very, very long time, but I didn't act like a minimum wage person, right? Like everyone wanted to take off this day and that day and holidays and party and take off. They didn't want to work in the mornings because they didn't want to wake up, right? Sometimes they didn't want to stay up and work the night shifts because they were going to go party. Well, I was getting paid like $7 an hour, like working at the mall at a stand, and I took all the days and all the hours that no one wanted. And I was also responsible enough to be able to give my mom money to pay for my share. I wasn't one of those kids that just made money and kept it for myself. And I prioritized work. I prioritized making money, right? And so that also, to tie it all back in, like your personality, your discipline, your accountability, the level of who you are, regardless of where you're at right now, that all factors into time management, right? Like, are you one of those people that's late all the time? You know what I mean? Because I used to be like that. And I had I had excuses like, oh, well, I'm going to school full time, I'm working full time, and I help my mom. Like, yeah, and those are valid excuses. But at the end of the day, you have to respect your time and you have to respect other people's time. If you're supposed to meet at this time and you take 3 hours to get ready, we'll set your alarm for a hard stop 3 hours prior to the appointment and actually start to get ready. Time management is self-management. And if you cannot manage yourself and you cannot manage your time, there is no way you're ever going to be able to manage your wealth and hold on to it long time and repeat the same thing that you did over and over again if you did not build the foundation or the skill sets from a very young age. So that's how important time management is.
Yeah. And then one thing you said too is that, act as if, right? Act as if you are where you want to go already. That's why I said be, do, have. Literally the first training session of Fire Hour, be, do, have. If you act as if what you want to have, you will be that already. It's about being, it's about showing up differently. Step up our game, right? One up yourself every day. Yep. Why not? You're not on Fire Hour to just dabble and to just play mediocre life, right? If you are, then that's cool. But I already know that I'm speaking to leaders. I already know that everyone here on this call is a leader because they want something different for their life. They want to have a higher fulfillment, a deeper fulfillment. They want to have their children's family and legacies succeed beyond them. They want something different that the average, normal, status quo person out there, and that's totally fine, but that they want something different than that. They don't want to live the status quo, okay? So guess what? Let's step it up, right? I love this call today. I can feel my blood leveling up.
Thank you. And yes, the growth. It's accountability. It's really being like, it's really checking yourself. Like, did I do what I set out to do today? Did I say I was going to do something and actually fulfill that? And, I'm very thankful for my parents when I was young because they instilled so many morals and values and accountability, right? I had to perform. Like, if I said I was going to do something, I had to do it. My dad, since I was 3 or 4, was like, if you say something, you better do it. Otherwise, don't say it at all, right? And I think that nowadays people lack that so much. Like, as I start to, obviously age, like I look around and I'm like, well, no wonder why you're at where you're at. Like, no wonder why, because you said you were going to do it like yesterday and the day before and last month and last year and 2 years ago and 3 years ago and 5 years ago, and you still haven't done that thing. So I always like to tell people, like, just don't say it. Like, because the energy to say something and to do something, it's the same amount of energy. I promise you. Like, to say you're going to do something versus actually taking the action to do it, it's the same amount of energy. So if you guys have met me before, you guys have seen me before, most of the time I am not as talkative as I am now, right? Like, we're live on a training, so I'm talking, right? But most of the time I will talk for less than like a couple hours a day, an entire day. But now I have kids, so I'm always delegating and like keeping them in line, right? Or talking to people to like, schedule appointments or figure things out. But if it was me and I was just in my zone doing my thing, it's saying I wouldn't even talk.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of, on the energetic side, of like holding your energy in, because you're, what is that quote? Like, words have weight, right? Yeah. Words have weight, and words are magic. And their words are spells. That's from the 4 agreements. Words, right? So when you speak, you're speaking into existence. Well, if you're not speaking into existence what you're going to do and you haven't done it yet, then you're actually diminishing your own energy. You're
Yeah.
actually diminishing your own power.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to not it's to speak less and do more, right? And then after you've done it, then if you wanted to speak about it, then you can. But other than that, like don't. Like always just continue to do and really be intentional with your energy. Be intentional with keeping your energy in and really building that up for yourself, because that's you. That's for you. That's your life, right? And then from there, speak it into existence. And again, it all has to do with who you're going to be, though, right? How are you acting, right? Acting as if. What type of lifestyle do you want to live? What type of standards do you want to have for yourself, for your children, for your kids, right? For your family? There's so many things when it comes to the levels of, the standards, but that's up to your discretion, right? That's for you. We're just going to share with what's worked for us, because I'm still taking on more companies, more organizations, and I'm adding a lot more to my plate. So now I have to get even more intentional with everything that is our foundations in regards to principles. And this is not everything, but I took like a minute to just write this out last night.
It's really good.
Yeah, but we haven't gone over it yet. Anyways, there's 15 minutes left, so let's just get into more practical and frameworks. But one thing I want to touch up on before that is availability bias. So availability bias is a cognitive bias. Every single person here has a brain, and there are like tendencies, heuristics, biases that is working for us and working against us. The brain wants to do the easiest thing no matter what. So there's going to be a lot of forces that are working against you when you want to achieve goals, big goals. One of the most important things is to learn about cognitive biases. So just do your own research on cognitive biases, the 25 cognitive biases.
I feel like you should teach that on a few calls.
No, I'm not an expert. I need to learn more, but I'm pretty good at it because I've been doing it for years.
I think you're really good at it.
Thank you. So when it comes to the availability bias, right? Availability, just let's make it super simple, right? If you want water, right? If you want water, how far do you have to walk to get water? Or is it right next to you? If it's right next to you, you are making your life easier, right? Because it's literally, I want water. Boom, drink your water. If your water is all the way across the room, like it is right now, and I really want water right now, but
like I said, time management and knowing oneself and knowing what you're going to need and when you're going to need it and having it available.
Yes. Yeah.
Refreshing.
See, everything.
No,
I'm good. So everything that you want, right? Everything that you need done, you want it available to you. Why do successful entrepreneurs, right? Successful basketball players, successful people, high-level successful people have coaches. Why do they have coaches? It's because a coach is someone that has available resources for them to get to the next level. That's what it is, right? As a consultant, a marketing consultant, a business consultant, why do organizations, companies get me on board so that way I work with them? It's because of the knowledge I have, the experience I have. I make it available to them because they just ask me a question and boom, I have an answer for them. It's that simple. And it's not just an answer of theory. It's an answer from proven experience. That's why. So getting a coach, getting a mentor, going to masterminds, yes. Having a consultant, an advisor, a partner, the mastermind effect. You activate the mastermind effect when you have more people, when you enlist help around you, when you make war with a multitude of counselors, like what Charlie Munger, the billionaire, says. So guess what? Why not you? Why not each of us have a coach or a mentor or a guide or a partner or a mastermind? This Fire Hour is a mastermind. The reason why is because we're knowledge transferring to each other. We're transferring our knowledge, our experience, our efforts, and everything we learned into you. And then vice versa, you guys give the feedback, ask questions, give us tips. The number one thing that you learned, right? That's been working for you. This is knowledge transferring. We're masterminding together. We're getting each other to the next level. Yeah. That's why iron sharpens iron. That's why everyone that is around you in your life, you got to audit your life. You got to say yes or no to people. Audit your circle. So it's important to be intentional with that, right? I teach the kids this already. They already know. I call it the secrets of school. And so I taught the kids, like these secrets. And you guys already know the secrets because you guys do personal development. You guys understand who you hang out with is who you become, right? I'm teaching the frameworks, the philosophies, the concept, the skills, the principles, the foundations to the children. Ever since I stepped into our life 3 years ago, I've already been teaching them. Why? Because I care, because I understand, I know better, right? There's a quote, a very powerful quote that our some of our closest friends have told us. They said, if you know better, you must be better. If you know better, you must be better. That one quote has changed my entire life because I know a lot of things, but am I doing it? Am I being those things? So then if I ask myself, damn, like I already know this, well, am I doing it? If I know better, I must be better, literally, verbatim. So guess what? Why not you? Let's step it up. Okay. So there's a lot of things.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, so I know that Jackie and Angela recently went to the Eric Worre event. That is so awesome. It's so awesome. I remember back in 2019, it was either before you or after you, but you told me like, I have to get to those events, you know, like if you take this business serious, like you will go to the next event and the next level out there with the professionals. So you guys recently went, I saw that and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I can't wait for like you guys to drop those pieces of gold. But yeah, so Jackie said Shun taught us probably 95% of everything that Eric was teaching us. And the 5% you learned though. I'm excited to hear the 5%. But yeah, Shun has taught us that back in 2020. He dropped all the gold. So if you guys were there, you know what happened. You know what happened to your business, to your life. It was life changing, right? So that's really great feedback, and I think that's great feedback for him to hear as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Just because you always got to constantly evaluate yourself, right? Like, are you upping your levels, right? I don't even think that we went over time management that much, but if you want to quickly go over it in the next 10 minutes based off of the bullet points you created, I think people would get a really good idea where to start.
Yes, I will. I just want to see. Yeah. Angela says hard truths building is hard. Maintaining is harder. Yes. 100%.
Maintaining is consistency right there.
Yeah. Goody says I have a water in every room. So I have a story for that actually. I used to work with Ty Lopez. He was one of my main mentors, Ty Lopez, a guy named Ty Lopez. I remember he had a Beverly Hills mansion. And so this is where I really got to apply availability bias. When I was working with Ty Lopez, I got to learn about all the biases and apply it every single day because if it was his standard, I had to raise my standards to his standards. Okay. He had a Beverly Hills mansion, and this mansion is freaking huge. But the reason why I say it is because Goody said I have a water in every room. In the mansion, there was a big water 1 gallon water jug, a glass that was in every single room in the mansion. Why? It's because he would literally pick it up and drink the water out of it when he wanted water. And so
but the house was big. How big was the house? Because you drove me past it and we were driving and he's like, oh, there's the house. And I'm like, okay, that's the beginning of the house. Where's the end of the house? And we're like still driving the car. So it was like
it's like 16,000. I forget.
It was huge. Like you basically had to have a car to drive from one end to get to the next. And it still took like a good 2 minutes on like a 30-40 miles per hour.
Anyways,
drive.
yeah, we were in Beverly Hills for an appointment. And so like we just happened to pass by and I was like, oh, let me show you where I used to work at. And so yeah, it's huge. It's a huge place. It's a mansion.
It feels like a building,
It's literally it's a park. It's a length of a park. Okay. So that's how big it was. And yeah, there was freaking water everywhere.
I just carry my water.
But that just showed me, it taught me like availability bias, right? Like have a water everywhere in every single room. Have it available to you, right? That's just regular everyday life. We're not even talking about business stuff yet. Like, you know what I mean? Damn, like there's a lot of comments, but yes, like all this stuff is important, okay? Every single thing we're talking about is important and applicable to your life. And it will, if you do it, it will benefit you, okay? It will benefit you. And if you don't believe us, and don't, be skeptical. Try it for yourself and experience it for yourself so that way you can believe it for yourself, whatever that experience is for you, okay?
Or research it.
The best way is to experience it yourself, okay? If you can experience an experiment, then the better. I wanted to like cover a few of these things. And also like I created this this was a workbook that I created in 2021 and I gave it for free, but I literally, at the time of this workbook, I created it because I wanted to get more done in less time. And that was the whole point. And this is a whole entire step-by-step instruction of how to do that for anybody. And so I'm going to upload it like in the future after I refine it, because I'm pretty sure like I mean, it's not outdated, but I want to make it better. But it's 10 steps, right? It's 10 steps with a bonus. And so everything's there, for someone who wants to like achieve their goals and dreams to get more done in less time. Use this is an outline basically of how to do it, of how to get more done in less time. I did this in 2021. I applied it, I learned it, it helped me out. I already have the framework in my mind. If you want it, then use it. Okay, it's going to be like we'll like upload it on YouTube. And so when it comes to like all this stuff right here, right? Yes, this is huge. Let your learning lead to action. Swim.
That's what I always say. I'm like, sink or swim.
Yep, sink or swim. Yes. So time management, right? We'll go really quickly. Time management is self-management. It's about you, because you cannot manage time. You can only manage yourself, right? And what you'll notice is that when you start to manage yourself, time works around you, okay? Not the other way around. So don't get buried around time. It's about you working. So, okay, next is priorities, right? A priority, that people say priorities, right? It's really just priority. Priority means number one thing, top of like, what is the one thing that you need to get done? That's what a priority is. So if you have a list of things that you have to do, just ask yourself the question, what is the number one thing I need to get done now, the soonest? That's probably the priority right there, right? It just depends on your goal though, again, right? It depends on what you're working on the position that you're in your business, in your company, in your employment. And then from there, that's your priority basically. But severity levels, there's 5 different severity levels. I learned this when working with Ty. There's 5 severity levels. Sev 1, right? Here, I'm just gonna write it out.
Yeah, I learned that too from you.
1, 2,
Severity
3,
levels.
4, 5, right? So Sev 1 is within 1 hour, must be done within 1 hour. That's Sev 1. So that's basically like must be done now. It's an emergency. Get it done now. Sev 2 is within the day. Sev 3 within the week. Sev 4 within the months, like a few months. And then Sev 5 is within the year. You'll typically never have to worry about 5 and 4, but 1 is always now. What's the emergency? What needs to get done now? This is within the day, right? And then this is within the week. Everything else past like a week doesn't really matter. Okay, it's really more about just scheduling. That's it. It just depends though. Again, it depends on what's happening. One of the things that we have to do for the nonprofit is we're going to be throwing a huge conference, a huge concert, a huge
festival.
I
would say like a day festival.
Yeah, and we have the opportunity to host it at a very one of a kind place that is not open. It has not been open to the public for
75 years. They've been maintaining the grounds and the house.
Yeah, for 75 years. It's a huge mansion. For 75 years, they've been maintaining this place. The personal family has been having a staff maintain the entire property for 75 years, and no one has lived in it. And so we have the opportunity, to be able to host something there. And so
Next year.
Yeah, that is in the works. That's a Sev 5 for us. Okay, that is amazing for us. That's an amazing opportunity for us to do our best to make a positive impact. Guess what? Right, that's something that we have to be working on now. Right, so that's a Sev 5. It just depends on what you're working on in your life. Okay, that's the point. So this right here for your business, you got to figure out what's the Sev 1s. What is the Sev 1s and what is the Sev 2s? And that's basically it. And then you have to enlist help, okay? I'm telling you again, right? If you are in business, right, for yourself, but not by yourself, meaning you have a team around you, you got to teach them these principles. You got to help every single one of your employees, every single one of your teammates get better at self-management, because they're going to make you better. Iron sharpens iron. Every single person on your team should be learning about this stuff. Whether it's from us or not, it doesn't matter. Have them learn something, right? You have to let them learn something, because it's important. Every team, it's about teamwork makes the dream work. let's like start to get better at teamwork, start to get like raise everyone's standards, hold each other accountable, right? That's the very levels. Communication.
Yeah.
Communication is one thing, but when you communicate, this is what I learned from one of my good friends. Super, super sharp, one of the sharpest guys I know. Very highly successful. He basically achieved his life goals, right? And then he had to face the challenge of, damn, like what do I do now? And he really had to sit with it. And he told me like he had to like sit with himself for 3 months, like trying to figure out what's his next life goal. And this guy, like I learned so much from him. I consider him one of my mentors, but also a peer because he treats me like a peer, but I already know he's mentoring me. Like it's like crazy. Like amazing. Okay. But anyways, he was telling me, because he has like all these degrees as well and certificates, but he was telling me that when someone is communicating, right, only only a few percentage of what you're communicating is actually getting translated to the other person, and then it's actually being received, right? So there's something called over communication, right? You want to communicate with clarity, and also if you feel like you haven't communicated enough, especially in a team environment, then over communicate. It does not hurt to over communicate. There is something called short and long. Short and long is a form of communication that I use, and it's important because we're busy, right? We don't have, we can't read paragraphs because we literally don't have that many minutes like for that one thing. So we need short and long. We need like the main point, and then you can describe and over communicate what you mean, right? Give context. But if we can get it within the short form, then boom, we're good, right? We're busy. We got things to do. We have other things we have to get handled. So that's why. And that's part of training your team, training your employees, training your partners. Every single thing matters. Again, this all ties back into business, into your wealth abundance, into all aspects of your life, into how your family dynamic happens.
Personal too.
Everything.
Sometimes you just don't have time. And Shun's never experienced like a lot of kids around. So before, he used to help try to teach me things, and I would be like, I need bullet points. I speak and I think in bullet points. I only want bullet points. I'm like, the longer it goes, the more confused I get.
Yeah. So it's and why not, right? Everything, again, if you look, take an observant eye and look around the world. Things are getting more shorter, right? The attention span is getting shorter.
Yeah.
People want faster, right? What is it? Guess what? It's just about leveling up our communication. It's about leveling up our skill set. It's about leveling up everything, right? Be the leaders in your circle, in your communities. Why not you? You're here working on you. Fire Hours transformation. Transform. Let's get it. We're doing this together. We are here because we want to transform too, right? Yeah. When we teach and when we share and when we learn, we're transforming, we're leveling up, right? We're holding ourselves accountable to everyone that hops on Fire Hour because we have a commitment that we made to you. We have a commitment that we made to Fire Hour to accomplish transformation. The masses, whoever sees this, whoever actually engages, who's learning, absorbing, being a student, taking action, letting the learning lead to action, sharing this information with their peers, with their teams, with their families, with their partners, with the people that are looking up to you. Everyone here is a mentor and also a guide and also a student, right? There's so many things. Using your voice and sharing your message helps you level up for sure, 100%. Because if you can teach it, then you know it, right? And then when you do it, you really know it. So it's really important. Hold your partners accountable, 100%, right? They're your partner for a reason. You chose to be with that person. Let's step it up. Let's iron sharpen iron, right? Enlisting help. This right here is, I'm going to edit a video that I did like 2 months ago. But I talk about enlisting help. I was teaching one of our employees like how to enlist help and why to do it, because it's so important. Like if I'll have to like talk about it later. Let me talk about it now real quick. If you have anything that you enlisting help, okay? Enlisting help is basically two things. One is if you have to do a task that only you can do. If you have to do a task that only you can do, then you got to get it done. But if the task involves a team, you must enlist the help right away. What I mean by that is if there's other people that you're working with and they have to do something or you need help from them, you ask them right away because you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what's happening in their life. You don't know what is going on behind closed doors. You have no idea. So just enlist the help right away. Send off the email, send off the text, do whatever you got to do to get their help on board, to let them know that you need like assistance or guidance or whatever that is. Enlist the help right away. And then from there, now that's in play. Then from there, you go back to what you can do only. Then from there, you go back to what you only can do and handle. And that's what enlisting help is all about, right? Ship off all the things to enlist help. And then from there, work on what you can only do. Chunking. Okay, chunking, the Pomodoro method. It's 20 minutes. Like basically, if you have a task.
She knows how to multitask.
Yes.
Sorry.
Basically, if you have a task, only like what you do, especially if you're like on a time crunch, and it depends, everything always is subjective. It depends on what is happening in your life and what your goals are, okay? But the Pomodoro method, chunking, 20 to 25 minutes per task. And then from there, move on to the next thing. And you use alarms for that. So
How
it's
do you
like
spell Pomodoro, sorry. Just in case anyone wants to know.
Google it, okay?
Pomodoro.
Let's start to Google, right? What I taught you guys before. Learned helplessness. This is what I learned.
Pomodoro.
Let's not be helpless. We have Google, we have tools. I already know how to spell it, but I'm making a point. Like use your phone. Use
Pomodoro technique.
Chat GPT. Use something, okay? That's what that is, okay? Check it out. System. System stands for save yourself some time, energy, and money, right? Systems are everything. In order to scale a business to $10 million, systems, you don't necessarily need systems in place to get to 10 million, but it depends on your operations. It's always encouraged to start to set up systems right away. I always encourage to start to set up systems right away because then the next step is to automate. I have something called the 5 pillars of massive scale: foundation, system, automation, scale, and then exit. Okay. So when it comes to the 5 pillars of massive scale, one of the first things is foundation. It's about setting up the foundation and then working and then creating the systems around that foundation. Because without foundation, if you build on sand and not rocks, then you're going to have a foundation that crumbles over time. You want to set a strong, solid foundation so that way you can build for the rest of your life and so on and so forth beyond your life, right? That it just depends on, again, your level of what you want to accomplish in your life. Again, systems right here. For everything that you do, SOPs matter. Standard operating procedures matter. List out step by step every single thing that you do. When it comes to creating reels, I have a step-by-step system that I have because I want to ensure that I don't have to repeat myself over and over again. So I have all these steps outlined already. Okay. I just use Google Docs. Boom. Super simple. Everyone can have access to it, and then that works with us. And then from there, boom, they got it. So it's the same thing, right? Alarms. Alarms are very disruptive. I really don't like using alarms because it's even like waking up to an alarm is disruptive. But when it comes to like your day-to-day, when I'm really focused, I want to focus. I want to do some deep work, right? There's a book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Check it out. I focus for 2 to 3 hours on one task because that's what I need in order to dive deeper and get things done the right way. Right? I want to do things the right way the first time. So I'm focused, intentionally focused on my goals. Guess what? When I have alarms buzzing at me every single freaking, hour or whatever, like it's so disruptive. So that's something that I'm going to be cutting out as soon as I can, because again, for me, especially as in my position as a business strategist, as a marketing consultant, I need to be able to think clearly because I want to think big. I want to see the big picture, the overarching picture. I want to think in decades and not days. I want to be able to utilize my energy, my efforts, my brain power, everything I know, everything that is proven from my experiences. And I want to be able to just focus on it, dish it out, right? Enlist the help, communicate it, make sure that the priority is set properly, and then instill in systems so that way people can get better results. That's all it is. I'm always providing clarity, direction, speed, but it's because of frameworks, because of self-mastery, self-management. So everything matters. I'm just sharing these examples because it all matters. It all ties in together into your business and your personal life, etc. Schedule framework. This is what Crystal talked about before. I taught her this framework, right? Use it for yourself if you want to, right? If it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. Okay? If things are not scheduled, if I look at my calendar and it's not scheduled and it was like, whatever, I say no. The reason for that is because I operate from my own time, my own schedule. I'm not operating on someone else's time, right? There's another quote, right? If you fail to make plans, is it that one?
If you fail to make
I was
plans,
on a
you
roll.
fall
I was on a
into
roll.
someone else's plan.
Yes, if you fail to make plans, you will fall into someone else's plan. Think about that, right? Do you want to fall into other people's plans, or do you want to follow your own plan? Which one is it? You know, when I learned this, it's when I when I moved in with her. She was moving so much faster than me when it came to scheduling, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I have this thing I gotta do," but she made the plan.
Scheduled it in.
She scheduled it in. So guess what? I start to get faster at scheduling in my own plans ahead of hers. So that way I don't have to follow her lead. Okay. I want to lead myself. So if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Yes. And it becomes worse than that. It goes back to what we said. So that's the first part, actually. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. But what's worse than that is once you fail to plan, you will fall into other people's plans. You do not want to fall into other people's plans. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because that is the first step to it. And the second step is don't fall into other people's plans. Say no or yes. Be very wise and intentional with what you say yes to. If you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else, right?
Mhm.
This is so crucial and important.
Hmm.
I have a lot of deals coming at me right now. These are big opportunities for me. I'm being very careful with the ones I'm saying yes to, right? I'm being very careful, because if I say yes to this one, I'm saying no to this one. And I'm talking about, it's percentages that I'm talking about, okay? 7 to 8 figures of these deals that I'm talking about. If I say yes to one that is going to give me 7 figures only, I'm saying no to an 8-figure deal. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. So I'm being very intentional with what I say yes to.
That's a really good framework.
Babe,
That's a really good framework. So the next time someone asks you a question and you're about to say yes, you should ask yourself, what am I saying no to? Like in your mind.
yeah.
That's a good framework.
In 2018, when I moved to Newport Beach, I had a goal to become a local celebrity, achieve local celebrity status. Because when I was in Alabama, I didn't do that. So that was my one regret. From living in Alabama, I didn't achieve local celebrity status, even though I knew how. I had the skill set, the knowledge, etc. I moved to Newport Beach. I set a goal to achieve local celebrity status. I said yes to every invitation that I received in Newport Beach for 3 months straight. I achieved local celebrity status. Right? What was the expense? What was the expense that I did? Well, my health decreased, right? I didn't put me first. I put my goals above me, my health. I don't encourage to do that. It just depends on the season of life that you're in. But at a point in time where I had to create momentum, I said yes to so many things. Now I'm at a point where I don't need to do that. So I say no to a lot of things. It just depends on the season that you're in. Okay. So this right here, this is a very important aspect, especially at if you're like at 7 to 8 figures right now, it depends on where you're at. If your business is like this, it's either going up or down. It's never like this. It's never steady. Okay. If you are not fighting and creating momentum and doing your best to keep it like this, it's only going like this. It's only going down. So it depends on what you're doing. When you guys went to the GoPro, that was good. That was a good yes. The reason I say that is because in the industry that you're in, network marketing, if you are in this profession and you are not at GoPro, you don't understand the scope of network marketing, of the industry. You don't understand the opportunity that you have, the better way, like his whole message, right? So I encourage every single person to go to GoPro. If you are in network marketing in the industry, even if you're part-time, go to GoPro, expand your dreams, expand your mindset, because that's what it will do. I'm pretty sure they did this at GoPro. Everyone in the room, day one, everyone who is a 7-figure earner, stand up. If you're not a 7-figure earner, you're literally seeing hundreds of 7-figure earners standing up. Stand up if you're 8-figure earner, right? They did that. I don't know if they did 9, but there are 8-figure earners standing up. Just being able to see someone next to you. This is what happened to me. I went to GoPro like 2015, 2016, something like that. The very first time I went, day one, they say, every 6-figure earner, stand up. There was one right next to me. They stood up. complete stranger. I didn't know them. They stood up. My goal was, oh, I want to accomplish 6 figures in network marketing. I don't know if it's possible though. Like, I don't know if it's possible. Someone stands up right next to me, a lady, and I'm like, oh my God, if she can do it, I can do it, right? Then there was 7-figure earners standing up in a room. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like 7 figures, like they're millionaires, right? Like they made $1 million in their business. I want to do that. I know it's possible now. 8 figures. That's unfathomable. There's 8-figure people on stage, right? Now that's like normal to me. But guess what? At one point in time in my life, I didn't know that was even possible. I didn't even know that was real, right? So Angela has a question. Anyone in here hit 6 figures yet? Question mark. So now right there, being able to get yourself in the room. I remember I told my peers, I told the people that were like on the team that were before me, I told them like, yo, you guys got it. You guys are 6-figure earners. You guys got to get to Go Pro. Like we're going to go. They were too cool to go. They never went to Go Pro. They ended up dropping off and they only hit 6 figures. I went to Go Pro. 6 figures is the norm. 6 figures is 100% achievable if you just do the work. Stick and stay, you'll get your pay. And it's so crazy because I've been in the industry for a long time. I've seen multiple companies. Hitting 6 figures is so realistic and possible. And it's so crazy to see how many earners are here versus all the other companies that I've studied and that I've been in. It's so freaking crazy. It's literally ridiculous. I wish I had Thrive in 2018, just simply because the compensation plan, the structure of the business. Just do the work and that's it. Your 21-year-old niece is a big earner in Thrive. Yes, 100%. 21 years old. At 23, I started in the network marketing industry and I learned about it. I worked my ass off for 3 years straight. Couldn't even make $20,000 in it because of the compensation plan. Thrive is freaking insane, okay? I'm not making any income, like claims, but I'm just giving you the truth of what I've seen. Literally, I've seen the transformation from 2020 to 2021, the 90-day run, right? It's crazy, okay? Anyways, it's just possible and it's doable, and you guys are in the right room and the right team. This right here, productivity workbook. The productivity workbook is this thing right here. I'll upload it on YouTube and just use it if you want, but literally one of the most important things I just want to highlight is this part right here, okay? Is the cross-off list. This thing right here. I don't know if you can see it. The cross-off list, this will get you more time right away, okay? The cross-off list is basically saying for the next 24 hours, list out what you are doing per hour and then audit yourself. Audit your schedule. Look at your schedule the next day and cross off everything that is not attributing, everything that's just a waste of time, everything that is not helping you succeed, everything that's not helping you get to your goals closer, that's not making more deeper impact or deeper fulfillment, right? Cross everything off that is not meaningful to you. And then from there, assess your situation, create a better schedule for yourself, right? Mapping your journey is another one. What's your goal? What research do you need to do? How do you think you'll get there? What action do you want to test? What actually happened after doing it, right? Repeat from number 4 until you reach your goal. This is a proven framework that we use to get to 8 figures, okay? From my mentor. This is what I learned from my mentor, a multi-million-dollar mentor, made 9 figures. I learned this one thing from him and I took it in. Use this as well. Use this. It's so simple and it'll help you get to your goals a lot faster. Scheduling rewards, another thing, right? We schedule work, we schedule time for work. What about for rewards? Like for a fun vacation, a family vacation, right? A family outing, treating your family to dinner, whatever that may be, right? Schedule in big rewards. Take your trip to Japan, go to Fiji, go to Hawaii, go to some place, right? Wherever you want to go that you've never been. Take your kids to Disneyland if they've never been, if you like that, right? Whatever the case may be, but schedule the rewards in. This right here is about scheduling your rewards in the future. A year from now, no, in April 2024, we want to go to Hawaii, if that's possible. We have to schedule this reward in so that way we know that we're aiming for that. Does that make sense? It's the same thing with our kids. When we do the 90-day run, we did the discussion with our kids and we told them, what rewards do you want to accomplish? What rewards do you want to experience at the end of this 90-day run. And they picked the rewards. So we scheduled it in. Same exact thing. You want to do that for yourself. If you're not scheduling rewards in, why are you working so hard? Right? Why are you working so hard? So schedule it in. Family time. Obviously, family is the most important thing. Schedule family time in. Make time for family. That's something that I regret. I wish I spent more time with family sooner, but I didn't because I was so focused on work, so focused on my goals and dreams. And it doesn't even matter, right? The most important thing is family. So schedule your family time in. And if I know that behind closed doors and personal matters, family may not always be there and stuff, but again, at the end of the day, like you don't want to regret spending time with family. So that's another thing, the 30-day run challenge. So there's a lot of things in here, okay? It's all to help you become a learning machine and to accomplish your goals and dreams, to get more done in less time. It's free, okay? It's free. So use it, abuse it, and let your learning lead to action and let it lead you to results, okay? The power of network marketing. Imagine if they worked it. My connector makes plus a year not doing anything. Jeez, where can you do that? Right? That's the truth. That is the truth. So there's a lot of things. Sorry, I accidentally marked here. You marked the white chair. Getting fired up, So, anyways, this is just a few things that will help you with time management, right? Self-management. Start to learn this stuff. Like, do your own research, right? Get accountability. Like, step your game up. Let's get to our goals and dreams faster. Let's make more impact, more positive impact in the world. Let's change other people's lives that really want their lives changed, right? You have the tools, the resource, the vehicle, the knowledge, the expertise, the experience. You have Fire Hour. You have all these things as well. This is just one training session of Fire Hour. Who needs to hear this, right? Who needs to get better at time management, at self-management? Who needs to get better at stepping up their communication, at enlisting help, at systems, at scheduling, using the scheduling framework, right? More people saying yes and no. What is it, right? There's all these tools and resources. Don't hoard it for yourself. Help your team learn. Help them get better. This is something, Fire Hour, one of my intentions for Fire Hour is so that our children can learn it. I said this before on a call. I want them to learn this stuff because why am I going to continue to repeat and repeat when I can document and share, right? Every single employee, I want them to be able to go through Fire Hour and understand our frameworks, our philosophies, our mindset. I want them to understand like what is required, what we expect. I know it's a lot, but guess what? My multimillionaire mentor, Ty Lopez, he had the 67 steps. He created that. I went through the entire process on day 67. I was there live in person at his conference and he was on stage and I got to meet him that day. And I'm in the 67 step video. Day 67. I learned the entire framework, all the philosophies. And then 2 months later, I got an opportunity to work for him and his company. I applied every single lesson that I learned in this company and more. A requirement of one of the requirements that we had when hiring, because I had to do the interviews and vet people and qualify, is have you been through the 6-7 steps? Yes or no? If they said no, then I'm like, all right, it's going to be a lot harder for you. But guess what? Now, if we say yes to you, you better go through it, right? There's so many qualifications when it comes to who you want in your team, who you want around you, right? Be very selective, be intentional. The most important, outsource and leverage what we have. I've been talking about this for years. You don't have to be the best. Promote, invite, connect. Yes, 100%. Literally enlist help, right? Enlist help, outsource, delegate, right? These are leadership and management qualities, So you got to get to it.
I want to give everyone one framework
Yeah.
that I did for myself when I was younger. I didn't have mentors. Like my parents were my mentors, right? I didn't know about self-development. I didn't know about getting trained. I didn't know about looking at stuff on YouTube. I didn't really read books on anything. It was just, my goal was to make money and then make money, make more money, and then keep on making more money in order to help my family. So my time management just focused on one thing, making money. And when you start to focus on one thing at first, making money, That's the only thing you'll ever need in order to start managing your time better. Because once you start trading your time for money, you start to wonder how you can make more in less time. And so as you go through that and you go through your own process, you're going to start to learn faster and faster. Because how can one person make so much or do so much in the same amount of time as you? They've mastered time management. So to have all these tools to look off of and reference is great. But if you have one thing that you're trying to achieve, just keep looking at that one thing. For me, that one thing was making money, right? So how did I become a net worth of $1 million by 33? Because I focused on money. And when I focused on money, I focused on my time. How did I become a multimillionaire by the time I was 36? That's 3 years. It jumped. Time management and money management. So one thing that I only focused on before knowing all these frameworks was I need to make money. I want to make money. How do I make more money in less time? How do I do more things in less time? We all have the same 24 hours every single day. So what are you going to do with your 24 hours? What are you going to do with your time? And what are you going to do with the wealth that you do have now? So that's just one framework that I lived off of for all these years. I didn't know any of these things. As I started going through my own journey, these are some of the things that I learned. So if this is a lot, just focus on one thing and start getting really good at that one thing. Level 1 should always be make money to pay your bills.
Yes, yeah, 100%. This is number 1. This right here, if you have money, you can, everything else can get activated, right? There's mindset that you can activate right away, but money is one of the number 1 tools to leverage and use. So that way you can get to different levels in life to make your life easier. Even if you don't aspire to get to like a big goal, right? Whatever that may be. Guess what? Make your life better, right? Have more fulfillment, right? Make your children's lives better, right? There's so many different things, okay? There's so many different things, again, but it depends on what you want. 6, stop disqualifying yourself with money. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want freedom, you want options, you want more time with your family, you want a better life, you want to live in a better neighborhood, it all revolves around one thing. So regardless of what you want, it's all going to come down to one thing. Yeah,
100%. And that's why we talked about like wealth is not just about money. It's about all aspects of your life. It's options. So yeah, congrats Mimi on figures. That is fire. In first year as possible, listen and apply. Tunnel vision and focus on your people, goals, and vision your end goal. Yes, 100%. Envision your end goal. This is key. Plan around your core values and beliefs. Everyone has a different definition of success. Will lead everyone differently, and that's how you can inspire people into action. 100%. Stop disqualifying yourself with money. 100%. Time management, money management, and tenacity. Yes. Earn it with integrity and purpose. You will fall in love with money. Oh, what? Is that what it says? Yeah, you will fall in love with money. Yes, 100%. Yes.
If you earn it with integrity and purpose.
Yes.
It comes easier.
100%. Yeah, there's all the limiting beliefs, right? Like people say that, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not.
Not true.
It's not true. Don't let people give you this garbage, okay? It's not true, right? We got to change the narrative, change the beliefs. Don't limit yourself with these negative beliefs. It's not true. It's not true. You can fall in love with money. And if you make your money with integrity, with purpose, you're intentional about it, you're doing a net positive for the world, that's good. And that's good energy for you. That's good money energy for you.
Money is energy. It's a form of energy. And it just acts as a tool and as an amplifier for who you really are. Are you someone that wants to help the world, help other people, help your family, do what you can to help people get on their feet? If that is, then that's what it does for you and the people around you that you're supporting.
100%.
And if you're a POS, then you're going to continue to be a POS and act entitled and like put it in people's faces and like not do anything good with it besides like, feed your ego, right? So it's an amplifier. It's a tool. It's used for good. It's used for bad. It depends. Who are you? Who are you at your core? What are your beliefs? What are your characteristic traits? What's your integrity? Because money is only a tool, it's energy, and it only amplifies who you are inside.
100%.
And I've seen money change people for the good and for the worse. Most of the time, the worst, because most of the people I've been around have not been around money. And so when I watch them and I watch them how they use money and how they act with money, I'm like, I got you.
Yeah. And so again, like money, when people make money, right? When people make money, that's one of the ways that you can observe them and actually understand who they are inside. because money amplifies what you are already. Money, success and money amplify who you are already inside. If you see someone shoot to the top with money, and then now you see that they have like bad attitude, or they're just a bad person in general, or all these negative things and these negative traits, that is who they were already before money came in. Okay, when you see someone with money, they're positive, they're a force for good, they're helping the world, that right there, the character, that right there was already inside from them. Money just exposes people for who they truly are. Okay, so don't like fall for clout. Don't fall for the negative, like the lifestyle and all that stuff. Look at that person, audit the person, see who they really are. Do you want to be around people that are doing bad in the world? Do you want to be around people that are doing good in the world? What is it, right? You ask yourself that question, because the people that you are around, the people that you associate with, the people you hang out with, it's going to affect your quality of your life. Do you want to let it affect you in a positive or negative way? It's up to you, okay? I encourage everyone to get better at reading people, to get better at observing people, to get better at qualifying the people around you. It's going to make or break your reality. It's going to make or break your life. I want you all to be happy, to be healthy, to be wealthy, to be wise, to be inspired, to get energy, positive energy, to be that light for other people, to be that leader, that role model, that someone that other people are paying attention to, that want to be around. Why not you? You can do it 100%. Believe in yourself, because you can and you must, especially if you're on Fire Hour. You got this, all right? So, yeah, so we went a little overtime. We are so lucky for overtime today. We are happy that we did overtime today. So thank you. There's so much gold in the comments, but we got to go. Again, if you have people that can benefit from this, send them the replay, send them the recording. Okay, it's going to be on YouTube. I'm going to edit it as fast as I can, upload it right away, send it out. Make sure that people that really need this get on, and but only if they want to learn it. Only if they qualify themselves, if they step to you, if they are seeking this information, let them learn, okay? Let them learn. Get better, make it happen. Have an amazing Wednesday, whatever day it is for you. Crush it and dominate your path, all right? Let's get it, okay? Self-management, time management. Use everything. Let your learning lead to action. Let's get it. Have an amazing day. Love you all. Bye.
See you guys next week. Bye.